Good evening. My name is Liz Basiliga, and I am a teacher at Katherine Johnson Middle School. I'm here with the group Parents for Intentional Technology as a concerned educator and new parent. I'm here today to share what I have seen as a result of the FCPS one-to-one device model. These devices are a major disruption to learning. The intention for these devices is far from the reality that we observe every day in the classroom. In middle school, students live on their Chromebooks. And as teachers, we do not have the resources to ensure that students are on task. We have Lightspeed, the program meant to monitor students and block sites. However, Lightspeed frequently crashes, requires constant monitoring, and kids are coming up with new ways to circumvent it every day. Our school pulled data on referrals and found that acceptable use policy violations accounted for 34% of all minor referrals this year. Not reflected in this statistic are the many moments missed or unlogged by teachers and the pernicious culture of multitasking that comes with Chromebook use. The second issue with these devices is that their constant use leads to low quality learning and over-reliance on teacher support. For example, most of my students struggle to read basic instructions, and they flounder when they're given multi-step problems. They have been trained on gamified platforms filled with button clicking and frequent feedback. We are failing our students when we steal from them the opportunity to learn one of school's most important skills, independently working through challenging tasks. One-to-one devices also present an equity issue. I'm a general education math teacher, but all of my classes have English language learners. I see how they benefit from peer-to-peer discussion, writing with pencil and paper, and engaging frequently face-to-face with their teacher. These opportunities are significantly reduced when a Chromebook is in front of them. Many of us as teachers are doing our absolute best to limit screen time in the classroom, but it is not enough. I'm asking you today to shift away from the one-to-one device model at FCPS and support teachers in creating a tech-reduced curriculum. I also ask that you gather data in our district so that we can truly understand the clear problem we have with screen time. It's not just the phones, it's the computers too. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alana, and I'm an FCPS parent who's been advocating for the appropriate use of educational technology for many years. Back in 2018, I attended FCPS On community meetings where Dr. Presidio was pushing a plan for rolling out one-to-one down to kindergarten. Parents in the audience advocated for the rollout to stop at middle school, listing reasons why giving a computer to every elementary schooler would be problematic. Back in 2019 and early 2020, I watched school board meetings where our school board spoke up with the same concerns, pushing back against central office's planned one-to-one rollout to lower grades. I remember school board members, including some still on this board, highlighting potential issues with giving devices to older kids, such as whether we'd be able to track and prevent them from watching movies. Every one of those pre-COVID predictions of device misuse and harm has come to pass. Those problems were clearly foreseeable before the one-to-one rollout, but there was no evidence yet. Now, after years of Silicon Valley using millions of kids as EdTech guinea pigs, the evidence is overwhelming, and it was all collected at the expense of children. 8 years ago, one of central office's justifications for one-to-one devices was to prepare our students for the jobs of the future. Coding was always top of that list. Well, from my understanding, coding is soon to be a job of the past, before those 2018 kindergartners are even in high school. Let's not make the same mistakes with AI that we once made with devices, listening to the Silicon Valley fear-based sales pitch that this newest thing is a necessity to prepare kids for tomorrow. To Silicon Valley, schools are a very lucrative market to enter. I hear school board members express concern about preparing our high school graduates for the job market, and I agree that we need to do that. But that can be accomplished by allowing them to work with generative AI in their senior year. That concern does not justify incorporating AI into younger grades. AI and its job impacts are evolving at breakneck speed. When AI industry experts have refused to predict more than 6 months out, we can't claim that IA prep for graduation must start more than a year out. Schools everywhere are realizing the mistakes that they made with EdTech and computers, mistakes which many of us here in FCPS foresaw before one-to-one was rolled out. Please don't ignore our warnings and repeat these mistakes with AI. Thank you for your time.
Michelle Durst.
Thank you to those of you who are listening and working for change. We appreciate you. The need for accountability is urgent, and right now it's not being met. In early March, a parent flagged a game called Five Nights at Epstein's. The game was available to students through a FCPS host site. It wasn't blocked until weeks later after multiple reports to IT. And this isn't isolated. Students are also able to play Grand Theft Auto and a gambling game on a school-based platform. In my own second grader's class, reading time was spent on Google Games. This has been going on for years. Parents have repeatedly raised concerns about inappropriate sites, games, and streaming content. And yet, the same problems keep happening. They are not being fixed. I want you to pause for a moment and think about this. If this were your child sitting in that classroom, what would you expect from your school system? What would you do if your child received a dopamine-inducing device day after day after day, sometimes for hours, that impacts their focus and potential? And now you want to expand AI on top of an unsafe technology infrastructure that is not working as intended. Please don't. Last year alone, FCPS invested roughly $250 million in technology, supporting over 1,200 digital tools, plus online testing, e-library, digital curriculum, and technology staff. Tech spending has increased with promises to improve outcomes and close achievement gaps. This has not happened. Testing scores remain below pre-pandemic levels, and the achievement gap has widened. In 5th grade, it widened by 16 points in math and 8 in reading. So we ask, where is the accountability? Please reduce one-on-one device use, allow parents to opt out of AI and Chromebooks, make evidence-based decisions, and create a parent and teacher technology advisory group. Our children deserve a safe learning environment and a school system that takes responsibility when it falls short. Thank you very much.
Odetta Del Sol.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Odetta Del Sol, and I am the parent of 2 students in our district, to include a high schooler and 2nd grader. I'm here today regarding an issue that affects not just my children, but many students across our schools. Recently, a teacher notified me that my high schooler was able to access TikTok and Instagram during class on his school-issued laptop. According to the teacher, these sites are supposed to be blocked, yet somehow students like my son are still able to access them. At home, I closely monitor my children's technology use. I manage screen time, social media access, and internet filters across all of our devices. But when students are issued laptops, parents lose the ability to manage or supervise what happens on those devices. If the district provides the technology, then the district must also ensure the safeguards actually work. Students will try to find ways around these restrictions. That's not new. I remember being a kid. But it is the responsibility of the adults and institutions providing these tools to make sure appropriate guardrails are in place. If the district cannot effectively monitor and restrict access to non-educational or harmful content during school hours and apply meaningful consequences when students are in breach of the restrictions, then we should seriously consider whether full laptop access in classrooms is the right approach. I encourage the board to review the district's filtering systems, enforcement policies, and accountability measures so that these devices remain tools for education. And I thank you for the resolution on WUA. Take care.
Marie Maroon.
Good evening. My name is Marie Maroon, and I am a concerned parent of an FCPS elementary school student, still very much so. I'm also an employer. I have come before this board twice now to raise concerns about AI and EdTech in our schools. Tonight, I want to show you what happens downstream when we get this wrong. I'm seeing firsthand in the people being hired. Across industries, employers are raising the same alarm. Graduating classes are arriving less prepared for the working world than any generation before them. Not less educated, less capable. 3 critical skills are eroding, all of which this board should care deeply about. First, collaboration. Young employees struggle to navigate a room, resolve conflict, or simply work through a problem with another human being. Screens don't teach you how to do that. People do. Second, critical thinking. When every assignment has been completed with a search engine, an AI chatbot, or an auto-graded app, students never learn to sit with a hard problem and think their way through it. That muscle atrophies, or worse, never develops. Third, problem solving. True problem solving requires discomfort, failure, and iteration. EdTech optimizes for frictionless answers. That is the opposite of what the real world demands. There is a growing national movement of families demanding a return to paper, pencils, books, and complete human instruction. Not because we fear technology, but because we understand what education is for. We are not saying don't teach our children how to use technology. We are saying do not make it the foundation of how they learn to think. Roll back EdTech and halt AI in our classrooms. Return to instruction that builds problem-solving, critical thinking human beings, not tech zombies. Our children's future depends on it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Annie Zizi-Kalakis, and I am a parent of a fourth grader at Stenwood Elementary School. Prior to moving here, I was a New York City public school teacher of 17 years. Today, I am speaking as a parent because my voice as a parent is stronger than my voice as a teacher. My son is an early finisher and was recently recognized as advanced in some core subjects. As an early finisher, he would be given a one-to-one device as a reward or for independent work. At least twice a week minimum, he would be on 149 plus pages a day based on the weekly Lightspeed reports emailed to me. I did the math, and taking into account the amount of time he spent on devices, lunch, and specials, my son was only getting 2 to 3 hours of teacher instruction on the days he was in school. That is completely unacceptable. In speaking with other parents at Stenwood, some teachers use the devices sparingly, others not at all, unless required to. Some teachers allow certain school-approved apps, while others don't. This inconsistency is also unacceptable. Where is the school-wide alignment? I emailed my son's teacher to ask her to stop giving him a device and sent him worksheets so he wouldn't be assigned a device during his downtime. She was very understanding and agreed to my points. But my question is, why is the common practice of giving extra practice worksheets, blank sheets of paper to draw, coloring pages, word searches, and such taken away? Why do we have to resort to giving or rewarding students with a one-to-one device as the only option? Just because millions were invested in these programs? The same programs that have been highlighted recently to hinder student progress. The same programs that collect personal information of us and of our children. The same programs that now have enough research to debunk EdTech companies' claims. We know better now.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Please play the video testimony submitted by Alexis Monahan.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. As an FCPS parent, I want to share a brief research-based concern regarding the developmental impacts of EdTech on our children. A growing body of peer-reviewed research indicates that while EdTech can have value, its early and intensive use may have unintended consequences for children's physical development, particularly in the foundational areas of fine and gross motor skills. For example, a study published in JAMA Pediatrics followed more than 2,400 young children and found that higher screen time was associated with measurable delays in developmental milestones, including both fine motor skills, such as grasping, drawing, and handwriting, and gross motor skills, such as balance, coordination, and movement-based learning. Vision research reinforces this concern. A 2024 meta-analysis of more than 300,000 children found that each additional hour of daily screen exposure increased the risk of myopia by approximately 21%, linking prolonged near-focus screen use with earlier onset and higher rates of nearsightedness. Taken together, the research suggests that unexamined or excessive technology use may unintentionally undermine foundational childhood development. That's why I'm proposing a constructive, collaborative solution. Establish an FCPS Technology Advisory Committee that includes child development experts, educators, and community and parent representatives to evaluate both existing and prospective technology tools. This committee would independently assess educational value and developmental risks and could create a proposal with appropriate safeguards to ensure that school technology policies are implemented in a developmentally appropriate and evidence-based way. This approach is not about limiting innovation, it is about ensuring that innovation supports rather than hinders the healthy development of our children. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Please play the video testimony submitted by Megan Durst.
I'm Megan Durst from Parents for Intentional Tech. Thank you for your hard work drafting an effective policy to both guide and manage tech use in our schools. I recently spoke with several teachers. They fear retribution for speaking up, but were willing to have me share the following. About the need for books to come back, math and reading don't have as big of curricular changes as with, say, science or history. So why can't we use some of the books that are already sitting in cabinets in some classrooms and simply supplement with more to save money? Another statement. Math on computers is more challenging as a teacher. You don't see where students struggled and cannot see the erasures to know where specific students need extra review to ensure their comprehension. In our class we now have, students use pencil and paper to allow us insights into their process. Even dry erase boards aren't as beneficial, but better than a device. My second grade daughter said the same thing about math on computers. I already questioned the efficacy and depth of retention from learning reading and math on computers. Is it most effective? Because I now hear she's learning about messaging, photo sharing, and non-educational videos on these FCPS-issued devices. We are told it's the children's fault for not using the devices as intended, and that teachers and parents should know how to handle these little occasional blips. Neither teachers nor parents should be expected to police or report these problems. I'll add, these are known regular occurrences on school-issued devices. Computers are the new school phone. Moving forward, we ask for age-differentiated screen time guidelines, grade by grade, including elimination of one-to-one devices for youngest learners in kindergarten through second, an assessment to be conducted on effectiveness of devices and EdTech, whitelisting of approved websites for students grade by grade, and the ability to opt out of one-to-one in the meantime.